Hello, I'm Cole Powell, award-winning singer-songwriter for Random Mind Records. If you enjoy what you hear, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, click the bell for notifications. Consider supporting us on Patreon for exclusive perks, including polls and long-form reactions. Also, be sure to check out our brand new arts and media podcast, Words Like That, hosted by me, wherever you get your podcasts. All right, now I'll shut up and get to it.
Can't handle words like that. Words like that. No, no, no.
I saw Wonka this weekend, and I was pleasantly surprised. Based on the trailers, I was expecting this to be another big budget reboot, prequel, requel flop like Robert Downey Jr. Doolittle or something, which I haven't seen, but it was a giant flop. Everybody knows it was a giant flop. But Wonka actually ended up being passable entertainment. I should preface this by saying that I'm not overly familiar with Wonka lore. I've never read the book. I've never seen the Johnny Depp Tim Burton version. And I didn't see the Gene Wilder version until I was an adult. So I don't have the connection and affinity for the source material that a lot of fans watching this would have. But I feel like if you just take this as its own thing, that it's a standalone story, it works really well. You got Timothée Chalamet, who I've praised multiple times in previous reviews on Dune. He really anchors the picture as Wonka. And there's a teen actress, Kyla Lane. I'd never heard of her before. I really don't know anything she's in. I did a quick look at her filmography and nothing struck me that I recognize. But she plays Wonka's sidekick, Noodle. She was excellent. I'd like to see her in some more stuff. Really good. Hugh Grant really had some great laughable moments, as intentionally laughable moments. He was a comedic side character as an Oompa Loompa. The only complaint I have there is the CG was a little weird for me. Was not a big fan of it. Just he was shrunk down. His head shrunk down on, I don't know if the body was completely CG or it was actually his body that they shrunk down farther than with that. I don't know. Just looked a little weird, a little uncanny valley there. Director Paul King, who did Paddington, did a great job directing this. He had wide angles, he had colorful palettes, most notably for the musical sequences. The plot is basic, but it's serviceable, and more importantly, it's not contrived. And they could have easily turned this into a giant contrivance like a lot of pictures are doing these days. Overall, it reminded me of another recent musical requel, Mary Poppins Returns, but the difference is Wonka is pretty good, and I didn't think Mary Poppins was that good. One negative aspect that both movies have in common, Wonka and Mary Poppins Returns, is the music. The musical numbers are copious, and at one point in Wonka, it seemed like that they were, every other sequence was a new song, which for me was a little bit much. Yet, even with all these musical numbers, only 2 or 3 really stood out to me in the moment. And then now, the day after I watched this yesterday, the day after, there's only one that I can even remember. So, when you've got a musical with this many musical numbers and you've only got 2 or 3 or 1 that really stick with you, that's a bit of an issue. And I'm saying this as a musician and a singer-songwriter. I didn't think the songs were as strong as they could be, and I feel like that's been the case with a lot of recent musicals, and maybe it's just me. It's also unabashedly a kid picture as opposed to being a family picture, and I feel like the distinction between those two has kind of gotten lost in today's world. But a kid picture is a film that's made specifically for kids, whereas a family picture is a picture that's made with elements that appeal to both kids and their parents, but with no or little objectionable material in the film that would prevent the kids from being able to watch it with their parents. And Wonka is, for me, just strictly a kid picture. Not much there for the adults. Nothing wrong with that. Just, if you're going to watch this, be advised, if you're a parent, there might not be much there for you. It's basically for the kids. There are a couple of moments of crude humor in there that you might not want the younger kids hearing and saying out in public, like you've got a 2-year-old or 3-year-old or something. And there's one plot thread that might be a little suggestive at times and objectionable. And there's also one mild curse that comes from the lead villain toward the end of the picture as they're going into the climax. If that's a little too much for your household, but you want to check the picture out, I recommend run it through a filtering service like ClearPlay, which I absolutely love. We use it for everything, and they're not sponsoring this video. I get no money off this. Although, if anybody's watching from ClearPlay, if you'd like to sponsor a video, contact info is on our YouTube About section. But anyway, use a filtering service like ClearPlay or VidAngel or something, and it will be cut out any objectionable material, and you can turn it on and let your kids watch it and be great. Probably personal enjoyment, I'd give this maybe a 6 out of 10 because, again, it wasn't, maybe even a 5 because it wasn't made for me, but objectively analyzing the film on all the technical levels, I'd give this about a 7. And if you got kids, I'd say give it a go. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Consider supporting us on Patreon, and we'll see you soon.